Built in 1892 and in business every day since, the Brown Palace Hotel is a splendid example of Denver's beautifully preserved historic buildings. But the project that is the true centerpiece of the city's historic preservation efforts is Union Station.
Most of what you can see in Union Station is original from 1914, including the terrazzo floor.
Connor Murray is our tour guide.
So this great hall itself saw about 20,000 people a day were coming in here, about 120 trains.
First built in 1881, Union Station was rebuilt after a devastating 1894 fire, then expanded 20 years later. But over the years, the place fell on hard times and became a bit dilapidated.
So Union Station really was a ghost town for the latter part of its life. In 2005, Denver decided it was going to just demolish Union Station itself and just get rid of it.
But thanks to preservationist Dana Crawford and a $54 million investment of both public and private money, Union Station was spared from the wrecking ball. Renovated, restored, and reopened in 2014, this place, both historic and hip, is thriving. Like the Terminal Bar, once a train station ticket booth.
And these are the original ticket windows, so where people would come up and buy their train tickets. They were actually covered over at some point, and this was just sort of used as storage place for several decades. But the architects and designers that we worked with uncovered this and saw all the original windows were here. So we decided to turn it into a beer garden. So the terminal bar's on this side. This is our beer garden. You can grab a beer from here. You can wander around the building. You can have a seat, just sort of relax. It was a way to open the space up.
Upstairs is the upscale Cooper Lounge.
The Cooper Lounge itself is designed after a Pullman cocktail car, one of the old upper echelon speakeasy cars that were attached to the trains.
I think this is one of the most romantic spots in Denver.
Union Station remains a train station. Amtrak stops here twice a day, and the terminal is a hub of the city's light rail and bus system. And visitors can take a train to and from the airport. And in winter, catch the Winter Park Express to a mountain ski resort, where the train stops just steps from the chairlift.
So this room, being one of the classic rooms, is kind of more reminiscent of that Victorian era.
But if you want to savor this place for a while, check into the Crawford Hotel, built within Union Station. The station's history is woven into the design of the rooms.
We took a lot of inspiration from the history of the station itself when we did the renovation.
Including rooms that resemble a Pullman passenger car from back in the day, with a Pullman ad framed on the wall. The basement reveals the building's massive stone foundation, where historic photos and posters adorn areas perfect for meetings, receptions, and other functions. And back upstairs, the place known today as Denver's living room.
The Great Hall, especially when you look down on it from above here, you can see Dana Crawford's vision that this would be a gathering place for a lot of different people.
The resurrection of Union Station has been contagious, sparking the revitalization of the surrounding historic area.
There are about 50,000 people living in this area, and 10 years ago there were about 200.
Travel writer Rich Grant calls Denver home.
People like Denver. Beautiful views, you have 300 days of sunshine.
And is a great tour guide of the city he loves.
In just Lodo, the neighborhood immediately around it, there's 90 bars and restaurants. So it's kind of like an old west town. There's no shortage of saloons. Well, the trains went right down these streets. People didn't mind having a railroad come right in the middle of the city, so they're all now outdoor cafes, but originally these were the loading docks for these warehouses.
There are more than 100 historic buildings in the area surrounding Union Station, all made of brick.
In 1862, the city was all wood structures and it burned to the ground, so they passed a law every building in Denver had to be brick or stone.
Once targeted for demolition and redevelopment, the old warehouses have been restored and transformed to apartments, shops, restaurants, and bars, like the one that houses the Evu Marketplace, Denver's first stagecoach station.
Yeah, Wells Fargo. This whole facade has been in place ever since then.
There it is back in the day.
I know. That's incredible.
Wandering the neighborhood, you'll see original wood floors, beams, and other highlights of this vintage area, which includes a beloved Western treasure with a fascinating history all its own, Rockmount Ranchwear.
I've always been a fan of Rockmount Western wear.
I probably own a dozen.
These are the most amazing shirts you could get anywhere.
Because they're unusual. You can't get anything like this anywhere.
Thanks so much.
Housed in a building built in 1909, Rockmount was founded in 1946 by Jack Weil, better known as Papa Jack. He created what we know today as the classic Western shirt.
It's the longest running shirt design in America, the sawtooth pocket, the diamond snap. There's no longer running shirt design, and this is our roots, and it's our signature design.
But that essential design comes in all kinds of creative flavors, colors, and material, like flannel, fleece, Hawaiian, and more.
We never know what's going to stick or what isn't, but we like to try new things all the time. And my grandfather, up to the age of 107, was like that.
Steve credits Papa Jack's creative zest for his rich, long life.
I loved what he did, and he kept it fresh.
Hollywood long ago discovered Rockmount, and the list of celebrities who own Rockmount is too long to name, but includes Paul McCartney, Bob Dylan, Robert Plant, and many more.
You never know who's going to walk in or send an email. It could be a guy from Dubuque, or it could be Eric Clapton.
As company president, Steve now follows the footsteps of both his own father and Papa Jack, with a fourth-generation nephew working in the business as well.
We like trying things with a twist all the time.
And the creative designs just keep coming.
A flag-inspired garment, and it's tasteful. And so our whole thing is how do we come up with a way to do this that you're not a billboard, it's not wearing you, but it's interesting, young people like this, so we got it right. This is Jerry Garcia all over the place, and it takes a special person to wear that.
Rockmount's history has inspired 2 books, Steve's history of the business and the book he wrote about his beloved grandfather, Ask Papa Jack, Wisdom of the World's Oldest CEO. And Rockmount snap button shirts have even inspired a song.
Well, here's a man who made the cowboy proud.
From Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Joyce Woodson.
I'm driving to a friend's house, I'm going, that Jack, thank Jack for the snap. For the snap, oh shoot. And I had to pull the car over and I just went, thank Jack for the snap on my cowboy shirt. And I went, that's a swing song if ever I heard one. So thank Jack for the snap.
Joyce dropped in at the Rockmount store for a special performance at a store with both a rich history and a bright future.
To me, that's the sign of success when there's a shirt in your closet that you've had for years and you just love it. We hear from people who've had a shirt 20 years and they wonder if we have more fabric so they can patch it. And I tell them, how do you expect us to stay in business if you don't get a new one?